We are here in game number 2 between Hendralisk and TubbytheFat on Bel'Shir Vestige. Would you like to do the intros?
I suppose.
I would too. So I'm going to do them in the top left-hand corner. The Zerg. He looks to be teal. He doesn't have a name. Not sure why that's happening.
I don't know.
It is.
I can tell you
Everyone
why it
knows
happens, but they...
Well, I don't really want to get
Yeah,
into that. And the Protoss spawning out of the bottom right-hand corner, aka Hamburglar. This is Jay TubbytheFat Martins.
Yeah, that's him. And I do know how this, in the Game Heart client, the client we use, when you click on the name thing, you can change it. But if you just click on it, then it like deletes it, as if like an Excel thing or something. Like it just blanks it out. And so they've been doing that.
We just lost 300 viewers for that explanation.
Well, good. I like to educate, not entertain.
Looks like the same opening from both of our players coming up here in the second game. Pylon being dropped down in that choke right next to the beautiful Infinity 7 logo.
Yeah, it's really
good. If you don't know Infinity 7, please go and check them out.
Tempo reminds
is a
me
part
of
of them.
the
He makes
Riddler.
those fantastic songs.
Yeah, he does. He was watching earlier, but I think he left.
Oh, well, maybe.
He's got songs to write.
He does.
Yeah. And then up here, again, Pro trying to block things, trying to be all, you know, you can't do what you want to do to that drone there. But the drone, of course, went down early enough. He went down before he actually had the minerals to go ahead and do it. To try and kind of buy himself, because you know they're going to block it. So why go down at 300? You're not going to get it down at 300. Now he's got the 300, wants to put it down. And booyah, see? That's thinking ahead.
Booyakasha.
Yeah.
Tubby does get his Nexus down before Hendralisk gets his expansion down, but Hendralisk is going to follow that up with a really quick third. Guesses on time for the third, 4 minutes and 32 seconds.
That's, I was going to say 4:37.
All right, closest without going over.
Yeah.
That gives me a 5
Assuming he
second
takes
window.
one. Yeah. I did $1. All right, pretty
500,
much,
Bob.
Very similar opening here from TubbytheFat. The main difference being that this time he's on flat ground, whereas the other map obviously had the ramp there coming up into the natural. So we'll see if he goes for the same semi-riskiness in not really making any units to actually defend it, or whether he feels that it's necessary to do that.
That shoot this probe out,
and we are not.
And it goes down 410.
Yeah, we're not even.
I was 22 seconds off. You were 25.
Just ridiculous.
Don't you play Protoss?
Yeah, and that's Zerg.
Yeah, but as a Protoss, you should know at what time your opponent throws down his expansion.
Oh, definitely. Definitely, you should know that. Well, that could be. You could have easily said, "Don't you play," and then said anything.
That's true.
Yeah. But there you go.
2 gas coming out of Tubby, droning up.
Yeah,
like a boss would.
No, you got to do that. Yeah, that's how you get money for things. You want to maybe go to the production tab.
Nah, we don't need that.
I know, right? It's overrated. Nobody needs to know what happens. Anything going on. And again, we just get a no gas opening there on the 3 bases. So pretty, again, similar stuff to what they were doing last game, but the shape of the map is going to make the exact same opening a totally different story. It's the third is not in that open position. It's a little more spread out. The natural is on flat ground as opposed to a ramp. Just things like that, even with the same openings, obviously are going to make this a totally different game, but we even see Tubby there going up to 3 gases around the same time that he did in that first match.
I don't see any kind of hidden pylons here from Tubby. He's pretty content with just sticking in his base.
Yeah.
And not really scouting too much. I think he's confident in what Hendralisk is going to be doing, you know, getting up to 3 base, getting some gas, and being aggressive. So I think he's content to just trying to defend, build up his army macro hard, and looks like it's going to be Stargate play.
Stargate.
Again.
I mean, I
I'm
agree
guessing
with
Void
you.
Ray.
I agree with you. Tubby is boring, but but he will just again go for the same type of play that he did before. I mean, it looked good throughout. Like that was enough to hold for the majority of the game. We do have the Roach 1 going down there again, pretty much the same as it had before. Is there an Evo chamber down there at all though? And there's not. So that's a key difference for what Hendralisk is doing instead, going to lair, I believe, a bit earlier than he had before. And again, without the Evo. Again, 3 gateways. Think pretty much the same as we saw in that first game. So, and then getting totally scouted with everything he's doing. Again, standard for him to be doing that. In both cases, had a stalker as if to stop the scout, but opted not to.
Getting the +1 weapons upgrade for his melee units. Got that sentry there in the wall. A couple of lings gonna come here and say, "Hey, are you paying attention to that wall?" I bet he's not. They're gonna poke in and see that he totally is.
Oh yeah, he's all over this. Yeah, you know, ain't gonna catch him napping.
A lot of lings being streamed out here.
They're a good number there.
Poking in here, seeing that he doesn't have a third base, which why would he at this point?
Oh yeah, totally.
Voidray's gonna pop over and maybe kill a ling or two.
Yeah, that's
Rogue's gonna come down.
That's what he made it for, to kill those 2 guys, to get this Nexus down. I love how the logo goes down as soon as the Nexus starts to come, and then if you deny their base, it just goes away, and it's gotta feel good. You're like, your team, go on.
You cannot promote.
Get out.
+1 missile upgrades coming out of Hendralisk. His ling speed is about to finish, as well as glial reconstitution.
Oh, look at you saying words.
I know.
Yeah.
Roach speed.
They're not even on the screen.
He's also getting burrow, which I do like to see.
Yeah. It's an interesting one. Blizzard really wants everyone to use burrow.
Do you think?
They've made it like cheap and quick and all kinds of things like that. They want to see burrow.
I think you can get it before spawning pool, and it costs 25 minerals. That's it.
It's something like that. But there you come again, and we're there's a lot of parallels between the last game and this game, and again, just going through a wall off at the third. But the fact that the shape of these ramps is totally different is going to make this a lot different. That it gives us
you realize you can actually get in here.
I can go in there. We were talking about that last game before as well.
Natural and go right into the main, get a good scout on everything. Sees the Twilight Council down, kind of forgoes getting any sort of probe kills. Just wants to get some good scouting information right now. He's gonna see it all.
Yeah, interesting here to do that, and then just take down the
third base also went down. Well, that scouting information is crucial.
Absolutely crucial. But one thing that does do, and it pulls everything out of position there. So he's got the photon overcharge here. You would have wanted that at the third, but by getting that run by, even when it doesn't kill any probes, he made him burn that. He made the mothership core not be where he wanted it to be, pulled the Void Wave off the line, and was able to get in there and ultimately cancel that and eliminate the Infinity 7 logo, but for a while.
But at what cost?
Yeah, at the cost of getting his 4th and 5th base behind it. I think it actually is rather profitable to do. Like
Hero Roach gonna dip in here to the third and say, no, you don't get to put up that Nexus again. He's actually gonna get a few kills here. He's up now to 3. He did get that third pro kill. I'll give it to him. Voidray's gonna come in and say, hey, you're not a friend, and finally clear out all of the Zerg units out of the Protoss base. Henry expanding hard behind this.
Oh, yeah.
He's up now to
going crazy
5 bases, with a macro hatch as well. Going to create.
And he is switching into Mutas here, which is interesting against a decent number of Void Rays. 4 out on the map, but if he gets a good flock of Mutas out, there's not really a lot of anti-air here from the ground. You've got the sentries, but not. As he chases these away, going directly after the Stargate here. Will currently run away from the Voids, but I think that's temporary until he gets a few more numbers to go in against them. But like I said, not a lot of stalkers to actually deal with this whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, this map and the way Tubby has his bases laid out really lends itself to Muta play and being able to bounce in between those 3 bases, get in behind the mineral lines and bounce between. I mean,
yeah. And of course, when he's getting things pulled out of position with the Mutas, coming in with this group of Lings to bounce him back in with the Mutas. So just kind of trading the 2 armies off, because what you want up front is not going to be the same thing for both, and able to clean up the air. And once he lost that force, we got at the 3rd base, there the Lings just flying on in again, burrowing. Burrow so key in this. and probably hopes that maybe you weren't looking there because you were looking at the Muta, so you're not going to be aware that that force is even there. It can just umber out a little later on. Tubby just realizing I got to do something, moving his army out to what is the 4th and or 5th base for Hendralisk, and just going after it here now, but just going to get surrounded. The Mutas alone, I think, could completely take this out, and Tubby GG. Hendralisk takes the series 2-0, and Tubby disappoints his fans.